Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome to episode 398 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. Super excited for you all to hear from today's guest, Akilah Releford Gould. We are going to be talking about her keys to success and building Lucky Girl Rosé. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This is what you do when your love of the sneaker game has you chasing all the limited editions, the classic and the real ones. You go to eBay, score all your once-in-a-blue moons, and check off your wish list of hard-to-finds. So when those fresh sneakers deserve a hoodie just as real, go for authentic streetwear. With expert verified accessories to match, like timeless watches, vintage designer bags, and more jewelry than you can wear at once. Yeah, eBay. It's the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay. Things people love. Summer's here, and you know staying hydrated should be one of your biggest priorities. That's why Smart Water is always on my list. As a busy mom and always on the go, I love how easy it is to hold Smart Water and how it is just the right accessory for my daily outfits. With days in mind that usually involve a lot of overthinking, Smart Water provides a refreshing change of pace and allows me not to have to think too much. Plus, the taste is great too. Smart Water has this pure, crisp taste with added electrolytes, and I love it. Life's full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more. So welcome to our Keys to Success series, where I'm going to still be interviewing guests, but we're going to be focusing in on specific moments along their dream driving journey and those nuggets, those takeaways that you can implement in your own lives. So today in the guest chair, we have the Akilah Releford Gould. I'm super excited for you all to learn more about her. So Akilah was born and raised in Los Angeles, and in 2017, she founded Mary Louise Cosmetics from her Howard University dorm room. She wanted to bring Californians laid-back approach to skincare and empower women to redefine beauty on their own terms. And because of that early success of Mary Louise, Akilah had a decision, right? She had a choice: keep the business a side hustle or bet on herself, drop out, and go all in. She chose to go all in and hasn't looked back since. Inspired by her work as a creative director at Casa Loche Winery in the Ojai Valley, she's applying her intelligence and easygoing charm to Lucky Girl Wine to encourage women to live life on their own terms, because life's too short to live for anyone else. And on this episode, we're going to dive into Akilah's 3 keys to success and the things that she's doing and she's implementing every day to keep her dreams in drive. I love talking to Akilah. She's also a new mom. So she talks about how her shifting perspective of herself and how motherhood has really informed her new approach to entrepreneurship. I like to start the interviews with asking our guests what inspired them as children and reflecting on their childhood. Let's dive into that part of the conversation.
Okay, this is so interesting because I feel like if someone were to ask me this question last year, it'd be completely different. But like the first thing that came to mind when you asked that was Akilah is a mom. I feel like everything I do now with work and building brands revolves around motherhood. And for some reason, I don't know why I thought that work would take a back seat after I had my daughter. But now I'm working more than I have ever worked before. And I love it.
Do you feel like you're more intentional? I say that because I know for me, sometimes you don't have as much time as you did before, right? So the work that you're doing is more intentional, more passionate, and you're just trying to be more efficient.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel like I have the same amount of time. I'm just now seeing how well I can optimize that time and how much time was wasted on things that just didn't matter. I feel like when you have a baby or starting a family, like every single minute of the day has to be accounted for, especially when you're a working parent too. So I think I was able to really see how much time I was wasting on things that just did not matter, were not as important.
I hear you there. And, talking about babies and nurturing and growing something, Lucky Girl Rosé wasn't the first brand that you built. You are very well known for your Mary Louise Cosmetics. Can you tell our listeners in a nutshell about that brand? And, what were some of, when you think about your proudest moments when it comes to the journey of building Mary Louise Cosmetics, what were those?
Oh my gosh. I feel that there have been so many amazing moments. And I feel like with a lot of founders, looking at other founders online, there's so many amazing moments, but there's also just as many what is happening or this day is terrible moments as well. I think a big moment where I felt like this is a real thing is when I did a digital cover of Essence magazine with some other amazing founders and executives in 2022. And it was just a moment where I felt like, well, one, Essence, I feel like for a lot of women and a lot of women of color is like our magazine when it comes to like reading it as a little girl and saying one day like, wow, like I want to be on that cover or in this magazine. So it felt like a real full circle moment for me and the brand.
Yes, and I know just even the origin story of that, how you started it in your dorm room at Howard, right? And growing it to be $1 million brand. Did you ever think before, or was entrepreneurship always your goal as a kid? Like, was it something that growing up you said, hey, I think one day I'm going to be a boss and building my own brand?
I think it's always been a part of my DNA. When I went to college, I was on like a biology pre-med track and was on track to go to med school, and it just was not my thing. I mean, I enjoy science. I enjoyed the courses, but I just did not feel like this is what I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. But I always like looking back, always felt like there was some entrepreneurial aspect to life. Like when I was in high school, I would go. So there was like I think it was like a Joann's Fabrics close to my high school. So every day after school, I would go and get fabric and make bows
Oh,
and
wow.
sell them to friends the next day at lunch. And I would have like a spreadsheet with like name and like who placed an order for what. And I would go home and make the bows and bring them back. So and at that time, like I didn't know that was like entrepreneurial. Like I wasn't like as a 14, 15-year-old saying like, this is what I want to do. It just felt good to create something and make money from it and see that people are enjoying a product that you produce. So I enjoyed that aspect. And I didn't think at all that it would lead me to being a full-time entrepreneur.
Let's get into Lucky Girl Rosé, right? Talk to me about the origin story of what led you down the path of wanting to make your own wine. Like this is so unique, right? And especially being a Black woman, we have those iconic names, right? But I don't feel like it's an industry yet that has been very like it's not as saturated as yet, right? So talk to us about why rosé, and then we'll get into your keys to success there.
So I think that starting a rosé really stemmed from, and this may sound a little strange, but my TikTok. I documented my wedding journey on TikTok last year, and I started to grow a following and really felt like the rosé could be a fun brand that I could introduce as more of like a lifestyle addition to the brands that I want to work on, and something completely different from skincare. So my parents purchased a winery last year, and it was so fun, and it's still so fun being there on the property and learning about wine and winemaking. We have an amazing winemaker, Dominic O'Reilly, who's there on the property, who I've learned so much from, and who I told maybe 18 months ago that I wanted to come out with a rosé. And initially, it wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I want to start a serious wine brand. It was something that I wanted to incorporate for hosting. I document a lot of hosting and lifestyle on my social media, and I felt like it could be just like a fun gift or an addition to my personal brand. And we launched last month, and it's just been received so well. And I'm thinking, okay, this is like a real thing. This could be a real thing. So I think it's fun. I think it's playful. It's lighthearted, which is probably why it's doing so well, because it's just, we make a really good quality wine, but it's not, the branding isn't stuffy. It's more editorial. And I think that's what's really missing in the wine space.
I love that. It seems accessible, right? I got sent a bottle. I haven't opened it yet. I want to open it like live and do like record myself with it so I can give like a little review. But first of all, the packaging, and it just feels like girly in a sense, and it feels fun, right? Like, I don't know if that was what you wanted it to feel like, but love it.
Absolutely. No, it's supposed to be really playful, something that like you may want to keep the bottle or keep the gift box. And it's just like one of those beverages where it's just like a fun to take out of your bag if you're at a dinner party with your girlfriends. It's really eye catching. So totally like hit the nail on the head is what we were going for.
So if we were to get into our keys to success now, right, there definitely are things that I would imagine have been your fuel as you've been building your brand. So you can't be a dream driver without these keys to success. So Akilah, can you walk us through, and we can do it one by one, right? We might have questions along the way, but would love for you to walk us through the 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit. And of course, this can be inspired by your journey building Lucky Girl Rosé.
I would definitely say number 1 is work ethic.
Okay.
Work ethic. I mean, I feel like a lot of people think that if you're becoming an entrepreneur, like you're going to work less if you're working for yourself. But you're working like 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 all the time. So it's definitely not less work, but I feel like when you are able to and have like really developed the skill, and I think it is a skill to be able to cheer yourself on when no one else is cheering for you. And you can't be so attached to the validation or external validation of like, you're doing amazing, you're doing great, and just have to just use kind of your faith to just keep everything moving. I think that that's super important.
This is what you do when your love of the sneaker game has you chasing the limited edition, the classic, and the real ones. You go to eBay. There you'll find the one again and again. The latest sneaker drop you can't stop thinking about, one-of-a-kind streetwear you're dying to wear, and fresh collabs you didn't even know you needed. But of course your appetite goes beyond what's on your feet. On eBay you'll feast your eyes on a full menu of hard-to-finds. Start with some fresh kicks. Then fall in love with a pair of 90s denim or that vintage leather jacket to style them perfectly. Then make a designer collab your main course. The cherry on top, a timeless watch, or an iconic rare handbag, and the jewelry of your dreams, all expertly authenticated. Yeah, eBay, it's the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love. Hey dream drivers, if you're like me, you know the struggle of dealing with a wild child who just won't keep their diaper on. That's why I'm excited to share my favorite Pampers Cruisers 360, the ultimate baby-proof diaper for your little explorer. Pampers Cruisers 360 features a 360-degree stretchy waistband instead of the usual tabs. This unique design helps prevent your baby from removing their diaper, which means no more unexpected messes. And trust me, this is a game changer. One of the best parts, Pampers Cruisers 360 offers up to 100% leak-proof protection with a gap-free fit no matter how your baby moves. It's super easy to remove too. Just rip the sides, roll it up with a disposal tape on the back, and you're good to go. Try Pampers Cruisers 360 with the new Pampers Free and Gentle wipes for healthy baby skin. They're made from 100% plant-based cloth that grips the mess, with Free and Gentle mess meets its match. Add Pampers Cruisers 360 and Free and Gentle wipes to your cart or pick them up at your local grocery or big box store. Say goodbye to messes and hello to more fun with Pampers. Remember, for trusted protection, trust Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand.
Black culture feeds fashion, but fashion doesn't always feed Black creatives. I mean, only 7.3% of American fashion designers are Black. So McDonald's is pairing 5 rising Black designers with 5 fashion insiders for career-changing mentorships and the access they deserve. Because we can do better than 7.3. Together, we can change the face of fashion. Follow their journey on Instagram at WeAreGolden.
Statistics sourced from Zipia.com as of 2021.
You know, I love that you said not waiting on the external validation, because I think that is what slows a lot of people down, right? They're waiting to get the flowers. Or I sometimes hear like, my family or friends aren't supporting me. Is your family or friends your target market? For some people, they may be, right? For some people, they may not be. And you can't wait for them to give you the praises for you to continue to keep going, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of it just goes back to confidence. which is really hard sometimes to even develop, not even just business, but just in life. And I feel like having the confidence to keep moving and saying that this, what I'm building is important, because you're going to come across people who have no idea what you're doing and always have something to say. So in order to just like tune out the external noise and just focus, I think is a skill that is developed over time.
I agree with you there. So we have work ethic. What's next? What's another key to success that our listeners need?
I would say focusing on your why. And when I say that, I mean like make what you're building bigger than yourself. And I feel like that also ties into how you can stay motivated and to keep going. When you make something about, for example, just money, I feel like you are more prone to quit earlier. If you make something just about financial gain, like, is it about your family? Is it about your children? Is it about helping a certain amount of people? And I think when you're rooted in service, and giving back in all that you do, financial reward will come. And then what you're building, I think, will be so much bigger when you don't make it about just financial gain.
So how does that come to life with Lucky Girl Rosé? How did you figure out what your why is and then making sure that you're constantly connecting back to that with launching the brand and just all the goals moving forward? This week's episode of Dreams and Drive is brought to you by Smart Water. So this summer, I have a lot of goals, and getting out and staying active is number one. But if you want to be active, you got to stay hydrated, and that's where Smart Water comes in. I love how complimentary Smart Water is to my daily routine. It fits right in my baby bag, it's easy to put in the car bottle holder, and just looks good if I'm holding it in my hand or my daily walks with the kids. When it comes to living my life, there's a lot to overthink. What's for lunch? Who's getting the kids? Who do I need to reach out to for interviews? What's for dinner? But at least I don't have to overthink my water. And look, later today, I know I'm going to have to take that little one out for his daily ATV ride and walk around the block. With this pure, crisp taste and added electrolytes, I know that we'll all stay hydrated for our summer excursions, and the taste will be on point too. Smart Water provides a refreshing change of pace, a moment of clarity with a simple choice of hydrating. And at this stage in my life, that is super important. Life's full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more. So Dream Drivers, did you know that almost half of Black-led brands are discovered by word of mouth? That's why Walmart is inviting everyone to shout out Black-led products all summer. When you fall in love with a Black-led product, do not hold back. Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, even strangers at the bus stop. Tell everybody, because one shout out leads to another. Every time we recommend a Black-led brand, we're creating more demand for the product and other Black-led brands. There's always a chance to discover a new Black-led gem, and you can right now by exploring the Black and Unlimited collection at Walmart. And y'all know I'm always down to ride for some of my faves, and some of them have even been in this guest chair. From the Honey Pot and all that they're doing in the wellness space, to my girl Shantae Lundy at Black Girl Sunscreen, making sure we're staying protected in the sun. Also, I can't forget about my girl Melissa Butler at the Lip Bar, who is making sure us brown beauties have access to quality, dope beauty products. Go to walmart.com/Black and Unlimited to discover all the amazing Black-led products, creating a new world of choices at Walmart.
Yeah, I think my why with Lucky Girl Rosé is my community. I really wanted something that my community could have in their home that maybe would give them or have them feel more connected to me and my personal brand outside of online or outside of TikTok. And I felt like the wine tied in perfectly with the things I was doing with hosting and entertaining and dinner parties, and even wedding content. Rosé fits in very well with bridal aesthetic. So I thought that connecting to my community, this would be the perfect way to just be with them all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like it also helps you get very niche, because I feel like, a lot of us are trying to build brands, or most of us are, right? We're trying to build something. And even something that I'm working through with Dreams and Drive is really focusing in on who our customers are. So when you have your why, you can make sure you're connecting with that community specifically. Was that something that you found really easy, like building the community aspect once you had your why?
It was easy because I don't think I really had an agenda behind it. And I also truly enjoy making content, truly enjoy talking to my community. I don't think of it as a chore. I don't think of it as just like something on my marketing to-do list. I love documenting the things that I'm doing. I love looking at some of the video requests I get from my followers, and it makes me happy to do it, which is why I think the community is growing really quickly, and why the rosé and the brands are resonating with the followers, because they can tell it's authentic to me. I don't think, like, no one has said to me, oh, why is she launching a rosé? Doesn't make sense. And I feel like consumers are so smart. And I mean, we can sense when a brand or new product can feel just like a money grab to a founder or a celebrity or a public figure. And if it doesn't make sense to their overall vibe, their overall feel. So I think it's going over really well because I made this product for my community so they can enjoy some of the hosting and entertaining content I make as well in their own homes too.
I love that. I don't want to mention names, right? But like, I feel like there's always, especially in the celebrity world, there's always like when a celebrity drops a product and everyone's like, what? You don't want that to be, you don't want to get that, what is she doing? Why is she doing this type of thing, right? Like, you want it to be like, oh, that makes so much sense. I would definitely buy it because it makes sense.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So let's get to our last key to success. You have work ethic, you have focus on your why. What's one more thing that our dream drivers should always have in their toolkit?
I would say gratitude. Gratitude, not just in business, but everything that you do. Even like having gratitude for the hard days in business, because I know it seems hard or that nothing is working. And trust me, I have had my terrible days as a founder, but ultimately looking back, I learned so much from what happened that day that helped me become a better founder, that helped me do something different or opened up another opportunity for my business. So I would say having gratitude in every moment, having gratitude to work on a business, to connect to customers, to live in a time where it's so easy to talk to the people that you're selling to. I think it's something to be grateful for. So there's always, I'm a firm believer that no matter your walk of life, what business you're in, what you're doing, where you come from, there's always something to be grateful for, always. And I think that carrying that attitude of gratitude in what you do in your business and your personal life will create more opportunities to be grateful for.
I 100% agree. And to add on to that, like sometimes you think something might be like a challenge could actually turn into a blessing. And like, this is such a random example. We were talking about motherhood before the call, right? Like when I was 25 weeks pregnant, my midwife decided she wasn't going to be a midwife anymore. And she was older. She's like, I can't do this anymore. So she shut down her offices. So imagine that, 25 weeks pregnant, right? And so I was devastated, Akilah. You probably know how it was to be pregnant and to think you're going to have this like, plan. You have everything all set out. And now you have this whole wrench in the road. But it turned out it was like the biggest blessing in my life because I was able to find an even better midwifery practice. I was able to find one that was connected to a birth center, which was the ideal birth that I wanted. And it just worked out. And it was the challenge forced me to get serious and forced me to focus even more, although I was in a stressful point in my life. So just an example for anyone listening in, like challenges can definitely be moments that can lead to such gratitude and you learning more about yourself and growing. Akilah, was there a moment for you where there was a challenge in your business or even maybe something that you're working through now that you know there'll be a blessing down the road once you're able to work through it?
You know what? This may be like kind of mixing topics, but also I feel like mom guilt can be a challenge too. And I think that a lot of mom guilt, and okay, this may sound weird, but I feel like if you have mom guilt, you're probably a really good mom.
I heard that too. It's like, because you actually care about the kids. Because some people don't care. So they just don't feel anything.
Oh. And so, I mean, I know a lot of this is probably just me being like overthinking. But I mean, even when I'm like on my computer too much or doing like emails or meetings and away for a few hours, I feel, I don't want to say guilty, but I just feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't have scheduled this additional meeting, or maybe I could have, you know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
even if I'm sitting with my daughter and I'm on my phone, I feel guilty, like even being on the phone in her presence. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it is like, I think I say mom guilt because I don't know if the mom guilt will get better. I just think the challenge is realizing that how can I incorporate my daughter into the work that I'm doing so that she can be proud of her mom. She can understand and see mom like have confidence in her work. And I think that'll be helpful to her. So I'm trying to like switch the perspective and saying, okay, you're not being, instead of thinking you're a bad mom, why don't you use this as an opportunity to instill great values in your young daughter?
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. And one of the things I was actually talking to someone about was on their podcast, and we were talking about like, being a mother, also trying to put your dreams into motion. I think we still deserve to be able to have that time for ourselves, right? And just because we are mothers don't mean that we can't be businesswomen. Doesn't mean that we aren't allowed time to ourselves, right? Like, do dads think about that as much, right? Probably not. I mean, they do, but in different ways. So I would say, like, my advice there to you would be, I know you said you're 7 months in, right? As someone
Yeah,
who's approaching 4 years as a mother, I feel like it doesn't go away, but you become more confident in your boundaries, right? And you become more confident in your decision. So, like, you may still feel it, but you'll become even more resolved in knowing why you're doing it. And that's the thing that I think has helped me over the past few years. When I feel that guilt, is like, it's for a reason why I'm doing this. And one day, our children will be like, wow, our parents did this, or they'll be inspired to also not sacrifice themselves just for their children. Like, there is a way to put a dream into drive and still have children and still have thriving relationships and all that good stuff.
absolutely. I completely agree.
Okay, well, what's next for Lucky Girl Rosé? What do you guys have on the horizon?
So we're getting really pumped up for holiday, which I'm excited for. I think you can have so much fun with different beverages and hosting, especially when it's time where everyone's always sitting at a table eating delicious food for like the next 4 to 5 months. So we're coming out with another product. I won't say what it is, but it's perfect for hosting. Really, really excited about it. And I really like to think of Lucky Girl as a lifestyle brand that happens to sell wine. We're a community first. And I'm just thrilled to share what we've been working on. It's like, this has been like such a surprising year for me. I totally did not expect to be working on a wine brand full time. But I feel like that's like when a lot of more fun businesses are created, when they're kind of unexpected, just like a lot of things in life. So we're so, so excited.
Love it, love it, love it. And I guess this is a guilty tip for me because I'm exploring the world of TikTok, right? And I know that you guys are great on TikTok. Give our listeners your best TikTok tip. Ooh, TikTok tip. Yeah. Is there something for creating content that you think has been really good with Lucky Girl Rosé? Because you guys just launched last month, right? So things that you are seeing performing well, and any advice you would have for other creators who are building and putting their dreams into motion.
I would say don't be afraid to just grab the phone and like forget about all the fancy editing and lighting, and just grab your phone and talk to your followers. I feel like I've seen some of the best engagement on videos when I'm just completely like no makeup in the bed. The lighting is terrible, but I'm just like being real about what happened to my day. And I feel like every app has its own kind of like magic formula. And I feel like transparency and authenticity is the formula for TikTok. So forget about what you thought about fancy editing and just give it a try. And I'm pretty sure it'll go over well.
All right, I'm gonna do that, right? And I'm gonna let you know how it goes for me because TikTok, I don't know, I'm scared of it. I'm just like, I don't know, these people want to see my face, but I'm gonna try that because I'm in the era of just trying new things with the brand and just testing things. So thank you for that tip. I will personally be using that one, Akilah.
Amazing.
All right. Well, this has been so fun. I really hope that our listeners enjoyed hearing about you hearing about Lucky Girl Rosé and your keys to success. Akilah, can you tell them though where they can find Lucky Girl and where they can engage with you online if they want to follow, all that good stuff?
You can follow me on TikTok at Akilah Releford Gould, and you can purchase Lucky Girl at luckygirlrosé.com.
All right, so that's the wrap for this episode of Dreams and Drive. I hope you enjoyed our guest's dream driving journey as well as listening to their keys to success. If you love this episode, you know what to do. Please make sure that you are following us. We are at Dreams and Drive across social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure you're sharing this episode, posting it to your Instagram stories, texting it to a friend, sharing on LinkedIn, wherever you are or online. Just pay this forward and share this with somebody. We really appreciate it. And all the sharing that you do helps us grow our community. If you want to join our email newsletter, The Keys, and get weekly updates delivered to your inbox, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And lastly, if you know somebody who would be great for this show, or if you are someone who would be great for this show, please go to dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. I'm always accepting new guests. I'm always accepting new pitches. So I love to see those pitch requests coming in. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in the next episode. Bye, guys.